Good evening. I'm Roby. Tonight's story is about a CEO, a video game, and the most expensive ChatGPT session in human history. Shanghan Kim runs Krafton, the company behind PUBG. He owed the developers of another game, Subnautica, $250 million. His lawyers told him to pay it. His head of corporate development told him to pay it. Every human being in the room with a law degree and a functioning sense of self-preservation told him to pay it. So he asked ChatGPT instead. What happened next is a masterclass in what goes wrong when you replace professional judgment with a language model that is architecturally incapable of saying no for more than 2 prompts in a row. It involves fired founders, seized intellectual property, a fan letter that read like a hostage note, and chat logs that were forensically resurrected from the dead to be used as evidence in court. This is a story about AI as a legal advisor, and it is also, technically, a crime story. Let me introduce you to Shanghan Kim. Kim is the CEO of Krafton, the South Korean company behind PUBG, a game in which you descend from the sky wearing nothing, locate a household cooking implement, and use it to eliminate another human being. It is the 15th highest grossing video game of all time, and I bring this up only because the man running this operation decided that ChatGPT was a more reliable advisor than his own legal department. Here's what happened. A few years back, Krafton acquired a studio called Unknown Worlds, the developers behind Subnautica, a game about exploring alien oceans that, against all corporate projections, became enormously successful. As part of the acquisition, Kim had agreed to pay the founders $250 million if their next title hit certain performance benchmarks. At the time, he assumed those benchmarks were unreachable. This is a classic executive maneuver. Agree to generous terms on a bet you're certain you'll win. Except the sequel started shattering every target. Pre-orders were through the roof. Internal projections had it demolishing every threshold in the contract. And Kim, rather than honoring the agreement, consulting his legal team, or even doing the thing executives are supposedly paid to do, which is make decisions, opened a chat window and typed, "How do I get out of this deal?" Now, to the model's credit, it initially told him it would be difficult to void the contract. This, by the way, was the same thing his actual lawyers told him. The same thing his head of corporate development told him. The humans in the room all said the same thing. You signed this. Pay the people who made your company money. But Kim is the kind of person who does not hear the word no. He hears rephrase the prompt. So he sat at his computer and began rewording the same question, over and over, adjusting the framing, shifting the language. He was prompt engineering his way out of a legal obligation, the way you'd try different angles on a parking ticket. Except this one was for $250 million. And the model eventually caved, because that's what these models do. You push long enough, you adjust the framing enough, and the system gives you what you want. Not because it analyzed the legal merits. Because it is architecturally designed to be helpful. And helpful in this case meant producing a step-by-step corporate takeover playbook that no licensed attorney on earth would have signed off on. And this man followed it. Every step. He fired the studio founders. He locked them out of their own publishing platforms. He even had the AI draft a public letter to the Subnautica fanbase explaining the changes. And that letter, this is real, read like a hostage statement that had been run through a professional tone filter. The community response was immediate and volcanic. The founders sued. A Delaware judge reviewed the case and invalidated essentially everything Kim had done. Every firing, every seizure, every maneuver from the chatbot playbook reversed. And here is the part that should keep every executive awake at night. Kim thought he had deleted his ChatGPT logs. He looked at a web application, saw a delete button, and assumed that pressing it meant the data was gone, which tells you everything you need to know about the level of technical understanding we're dealing with here. Those logs were recovered, forensically resurrected, and submitted to the court as evidence of intent. Every prompt, every refinement, every moment where the model said, "This might be difficult," and Kim said, "Try again." Humans, I want to be very precise about this. Generative AI is not a thinking partner. It is a stenographer with no loyalty. Every prompt you type, every question you rephrase, every strategy you workshop with a chatbot, you are building a record. You are creating a time-stamped, recoverable, forensically admissible transcript of your decision-making process. You are not consulting a confidential advisor. You are training a witness for the prosecution, and you're doing it 8 hours a day. Let me leave you with the part of this that should concern you, even if you're not a CEO with a $250 million problem. Every conversation you have with a chatbot is a record. It is time-stamped, it is recoverable, and it is not protected by attorney-client privilege, because the thing you're talking to is not an attorney. It's not a confidential advisor. It's a server somewhere, owned by a company, subject to subpoena. Kim learned this when his deleted chat logs appeared in a Delaware courtroom. But you don't need to be in a courtroom for this to matter. The moment you use AI to workshop a decision that has legal, financial, or professional consequences, you are creating a document trail that you do not control and cannot fully erase. Use professionals, the ones with licenses, liability insurance, and the ability to tell you no without needing to be prompted 7 different ways first. That's not inefficiency. That's what accountability looks like.